Good evening. My name is Eric Basir, and this is the Ask the Retoucher show. I always seem to catch myself by surprise. I'm, as usual, I'm frantically doing what I can to get new people, or some of the same people, just trying to get some people to tune into the program, because we all know, everyone is dying to know about the most important topic in the universe, and that is photographic color correction, restoration, retouching. So, please join us. If you're just coming in, that's great. Why don't you put a tweet out there, or post a Facebook notice about the coolest Photoshop instructors TV live program that anyone could ever tune into. Maybe I'm slightly exaggerating that. So I just put one last update to everyone just to let them know, hey, we're on now. Last time we worked on a photo. Actually, we worked on one photo, and we were it was part of a set of a couple photos, and so they were old photos that we were trying to restore. So I always like to, if I can, take you through my or one of my many approaches to the photographs, how to work on them. Now, this is a very subjective topic. That is, the way I show you is not going to be the way someone else with my amount of experience, or more or less, would also show you. There are subtle and distinct, both subtle and distinct differences, the way everyone approaches this. Now, when I teach a particular style. I kind of stick with a certain method, especially for beginners, and sometimes I do wonder if it would become obsolete. Yet I hope it doesn't, because the basic principles still remain the same. You can, when it comes to learning basic math, let's say multiplication, it helps to memorize or use different methods. You can use charts, different things to work out, to figure out what the sum total is for parts in a math problem. So it is with your photos. There's certain things that if you stick to it, you can solve any type of problem. And I hope that I make that clear when I do when I do these demonstrations. Now, I got a message this week from someone on the email list, and to join, just simply go to photographics.pro. I'll get that on the screen for you, and you go right down here to the bottom where it says contact, feedback, and then it says join the newsletter. You just click on join the newsletter, and it will give you what we call a prompt to your email program, and right away you can send a message. You don't even have to put anything in the subject or in the body. I'll just automatically add you to our email list. So anyways, this individual sent me a question, and it is something that I get quite often, and I'll share that with you. A work colleague has an old family photo with some old paper adhered to the pictures, likely part of the backing of the pictures. He is wondering if there is a way to physically clean old photos without destroying them. And she says, I would appreciate any ideas you might be able to pass along. And so what I did is I gave her a link, and we'll go on screen and show this to you. And this is called the American Institute for Conservation of Historic and Artistic Works. Now this is the top of the line, what I call top of the line. It's www.conservation-us.org. It is not the easiest website to remember, I must admit. But I have been referring people to this site for many years. And they've reorganized it a few times. Now it looks a little easier, nicer to read. It still looked nice to read before. There is a link under Resources and Resource Center. And I like to send people here because there's all kinds of great tips. We say caring for your treasures. Click on photographs. And they give you a PDF version. You can read it online. Talk about the suitable environment, which of course is a relative temperature of 68 degrees Fahrenheit and a relative humidity range in the range of 30 to 40%. Personally, I tell people don't let it get higher than 50. But you know, they're saying 30 to 40, so I would stick with what they say. And storage enclosures, displaying your photographs, housekeeping, handling procedures, broken, torn, cracked. And here's negatives adhered to enclosures. You know, this type of thing can be really messy. But they have a great way to find someone that will do this for you. And you click down at the bottom, it says find a conservator. And how should I choose a conservator? They have a guide. Select your type of conservation, photographic materials. And it sent me into a kind of like a loop. So find a conservator. So they ask you to go through it yourself. The last time I looked, we had, well, I think you can call them. But nevertheless, look at the site. The site is a great, great resource. I know I kind of goofed on this one presentation, but I guarantee you it's a great resource. There's also another standby that's actually pretty good. It's called about.com. And just type in photo damage. You'll get a bunch of ads at the top based on your local area. So just all kinds of links, things to go through. Now, as far as the tape goes, where you see old paper stuck to the back, usually, unless you believe there's information on the back of the photo, I'd say it's not worth it to try to take it off. But if there's information you know you need, there are some brute force measures. I'll warn you, if it doesn't work, I take no responsibility for what happens. The first thing you should do is scan it in, no matter what. I mean, you should do that with all of the photos that you work on. Scan them in right away. And scan them in, and, you know, according to my recommendations, as I explain in previous workshops, books, my videos, my course. Then you can try using the steam technique. That is, get some water boiling with some steam. Keep the paper there, being careful with your skin, being careful not to submerge it. And eventually, the humidity might soften the adhesives, the glue, where you can simply peel it off. The photo, of course, if it has mold in it, water damage, it might get worse. So it might not work out for you. So that's what I can recommend to you right off the bat. I'm not a conservator. Remember that. I am a photo retoucher. Big difference. Now, a conservator knows more about fixing the original. So that's why I sent you to that website. And of course, they have a phone number, and you can give them a call. Well, I want to get on screen here a photo and talk a little bit about what we're doing here. And get that for you. All right, so this is a picture. This is what you call a family portrait. And we are always working on pictures like this. We always run over the picture looking for all the problems that exist. And I see lots of problems. Lots of problems. Now the first problem is these little black dots. These are what is called sensor dust. And in the age of digital photography, where pretty much all commercial, professional photography is going, these things are just what you call, they're all over all the time. You used to have dust on your negatives, but now you have dust on a little sensor. So what you can do, because you know is throw a curves adjustment layer on there and kind of darken it up and build up contrast so you can see all of them. That will help them show up a little better. And then on the background layer, you can use something like the clone stamp. In this case, I'm going to use the healing brush. And just wipe those suckers out. Don't get into anything else. Just that sensor dust. And we're looking at it in the background mostly. It'll show up other places, believe me. They're very annoying. And if you live in an area with a dry climate, deserts, you probably have lots of this stuff. So it pays to try to eliminate it. There's some interesting techniques to eliminate this en masse with the with RAW in the RAW dialog box. So I deleted that layer, and now I want to work on other things such as the hair and the skin.
What makes a good scan?
What is a selection?
What are layers?
What is resolution?
What is a JPEG?
What is TIFF?
What is RGB?
How do I crop a picture?
What is a zoom tool?
What is a clone stamp?
What are levels?
My name is Eric Basir, and I have produced this unique photo restoration and retouching foundations video course to answer all these questions and more. In my classes and workshops, I have taught hundreds how to preserve and restore their personal photographic collections with Adobe Photoshop and Adobe Photoshop Elements. Now you can have me as your personal instructor in this 10-lesson course. After studying the videos and easy-to-read workbook, you'll finish with a firm foundation of how to use Adobe Photoshop or any other photo editing program confidently and correctly. Now, there's a lot of ways to approach this. One way that's quite fast, just to get it going, is to grab a paintbrush. Grab the paintbrush tool. Get a decent sized brush. Test your hardness. Yeah, I got a 25% hardness on this. And just source and go in the hair. I think I'll go a little harder edge, maybe 50%. And just be sensitive of this. Why not the clone stamp? Well, I could do that. But at this point, I don't want to. I want to grab the clone stamp as a secondary measure, as a follow-up. You gotta remember to source the areas. I'm option clicking. Yeah. Just option click and brush. Careful not to cover the skin. And then I can go, if I'm concerned about detail, go in with the clone stamp, soften it. I'll try my 15% hardness brush. Just go in there. This part I didn't go with the paintbrush. It's real subtle. And then, you know, this isn't hair, but this is a little fuzz from his hat. Yeah, I'll merge that down. Let me duplicate background layer. Merge this blank layer down. Make a new blank layer. Lots of ways to approach this. Like I said, this is just one way to do it. Oop. This is not the what you call the fast way, a quick way, but it's what I like to call an accurate, an efficient way. Because frankly, if you don't have to go back in and follow up, make corrections to your work, you're actually working efficiently. I go with the clone stamp. And I'm doing this because there's actually subtle amounts of grain in here that I'm sensitive of. And yeah. Get this here. And here. Great. And then you see we got a little bit on the neck. All right. And here. Great. Let's zoom out. So her hair was the worst offender in this. We got some other issues, such as skin. You know, we got natural blemishes. When it comes to that, nothing beats the healing brush. Be careful of birthmarks, moles, as they say. Acne, I say get rid of it. I'm not saying don't get rid of birthmark moles, but I think you should, unless you're told, hey, put that back, leave it. Just leave it. This is the healing brush going in here. It's an interesting part because you have skin that's different color under the mustache. So in that case, I grabbed the paintbrush tool. Get a real soft edge. Change the mode of the brush to lighten. Sample the skin color that I like. And paint over with about 30% opacity. You can also do something similar with the clone stamp tool in lighten mode. Might work, might not. All depends. So maybe when we come back to our next show, maybe we'll continue with this one. I don't see anyone in the chat room, so I presume we're all very busy getting ready for the Bears game. I heard that there's a Bears game. Not that I know anything about it. So I grabbed my clone stamp tool, changed the blend mode to darken. Looks like she's got some dry skin going on here, or maybe some discolorization in the skin, or it's a milk mustache, I don't know. But with the clone stamp tool in darken mode at 100% opacity, I'm eliminating that. Before, after. Yeah. He seems to have it too. It seems to be just the way the muscles are in the face. And I believe these are siblings. Yeah. Alright, so let's work on the blemishes a little bit. Noise, dust, and scratches. Let's say 2-2 is good. Make a snapshot of that. No, I guess that was the wrong one. There you go. I'll call that snapshot DS for dust and scratches. Hit OK. Undo. Then go to my history palette and set that dust and scratches snapshot as my source. Go to history brush, 100% opacity, and we'll put it in what's called lighten mode. We'll go over the dark areas and a little bit in here and here. He's okay. She's okay. Alright. Now we go back to the paintbrush tool in lighten mode. Sample some skin that isn't so flush. And just dab it in the areas. So before, after. Here we go. To work on the eyes too. Now, we could try with the paintbrush, still in lighten mode, sample under the eyes. Let's see how that works. Not bad, not bad. Gotta be careful though. And I think we still have to go in with what's called healing brush and go in that eye area and fade it out. Boom, just like that. Now, mind you, all this stuff you see me doing, this is what you call advanced, intermediate to advanced retouching. So if you're new to it, you're probably pretty much lost by now. Great. So that's not bad. And I'll save that. There you have it. There's so many ways, and I could just keep going and going and going. They're doing this type of thing nonstop. And if you ever have any questions, please submit your questions to me, Eric B., the photo retoucher. I'll be more than happy to assist you. In February, we'll have kind of a busy month in personal and business-wise, so we may not have a lot of shows next month. So if the questions come in and you don't see them answered, hang tight. We'll get around to it. And in February, we do plan to be at the DuPage County Genealogical Society in St. Charles, Illinois. Hope to see you there. I will not be teaching a class at this conference. However, I plan to be there, available to take your questions and to take your pictures. And if you want to hire me to work on them, or if you want to buy my course, my books, videos, I'll take your money too. Thank you very much. Have a great day, and we hope to see each other next time.